Hello and welcome to Galactic Sun Energy Readings. It's Tasha here, Natasha at Galactic Sun Energy Readings. Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to my regular viewers and welcome to any newcomers. Also, please hit the like and the subscribe. So this is a Starseed reading we're going to do today. Okay, now everybody's chatting about it. August is like the busiest month on the calendar spiritually this year for sure. There's an awful lot going on and I can certainly vouch for that. It's been reflected in our daily lives, it's been reflected in the collective. I'm doing my best to serve in any way that I can, and today I feel really called to do a Starseed reading. There's been an awful lot of stuff in the news in the last couple of weeks regarding the American government actually disclosures happening. It's happening. I think I did chat about this a little bit in the last one, but just it's been screaming at me all week. Do a Starseed reading, do a Starseed reading. It's time to bring the Starseed readings back. So I'm bringing them back. It's a pure Starseed reading with tarot to clarify at the end. It's been kept very simple today with just 2 decks as I've been guided to. But the first reading that we're going to do is going to involve 5 cards, and it's a new one that I haven't done before on the channel, and it's from the Rebecca Campbell Starseed Oracle Guidebook, and it's the Star Origins 5 card spread. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Okay, just as I always do a tarot by, I nearly said tarot by the moon, which is what this channel used to be called. It's called Galactic Sun. Tarot by, why was I going to say that? Okay, the moon's in Aries today, incidentally. Let's just check in with that energy for a minute. The moon is in Aries today. So that's back to the beginning. That's the initiatory energy. Interesting. Affects the head. You might have been getting I've been feeling a lot of tension, headaches and things. Wants things to move forward very, very quickly. Okay, things are moving forward very, very quickly. Just off the back of that energy there. This disclosure stuff seemed to be hanging about for so long, and all of a sudden it's just out. And if you're a like-minded person, as on a similar wave that I'm on, if you're watching this, then you must be. It feels like a lot of people are like really nonplussed by it, and it's like it's just, I don't know. Let's just get into it. Let's see where this is going. But I feel like I want to get going on this, so that's very moon in Aries, I suppose. Okay, so we've had a full moon, the first full moon of the month. Alright, we're just coming in with that energy's just cooling off a little bit now. This is my favourite week, you know, as far as the moon's concerned. Being a Cancerian and ruled by the moon, I find the week after the full moon is my most productive and best week, that I can sort of still have that energy of the full moon, but it's not quite so intense and crazy and yeah, hypersensitive and everything. It's just cooled off enough that I can just sort of do something with it. So let's see what comes up today. I haven't done a Starseed Oracle for some time. I used to do them regularly, but they were the 3 card ones. If you followed my channel for quite a while, you'll remember those. Okay, and I should say that because there's 3 now. Okay, so we're going 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to take another 2. Interesting. Okay. Let me know, give me feedback around this, because like I say, I'd like to bring a pure Starseed reading in, as well as, in case you haven't watched before, I also do an oracle reading, and I also do a tarot reading for the collective pretty much weekly, most of the time, unless there's something very dramatic happening. I've been doing them for about 2 years now, so we're coming up to our 2nd year anniversary year on the channel as well, Lionsgate, which is in a couple of days' time, and it'll be the 2nd year anniversary of this channel. So happy anniversary to all of us who've ever been involved. Just one more card, please. Okay, it is a quick energy today, and usually with Starseed energy it's quite gentle, but today it's quick. Okay, there we go. Right, interesting. Let's see what we got. So the first card out is our soul gift. So this is what you came here to express and share with the world. And we've got this one. We've got all paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. I love this one. It's one of my favourite ones when I first worked with this deck. Absolutely love that. All paths lead home. The insight there that I always get is it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you stumble, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it doesn't matter how you come to a state of enlightenment. You could have been a Buddhist, you could have been a Christian, you could have been a Wiccan. It really doesn't matter. It really, in a way, it doesn't even matter what you believe in. It just matters what you are as a person. So what you are as a person is what your true spirituality is. All of those ways that we take are just paths that lead us back to ourselves. Those are just the paths that lead us back to ourselves, yeah. So all paths lead home. And that means even when you're lost sometimes, because sometimes in life when you're in a part of your life that feels a little bit lost or a little bit disjointed or whatever, that's still a path that you're on that's leading you back home, because it'll be full of lessons, full of learning, full of insights and wonders. Okay, you just got to start seeing it as that. Okay, strong energy coming in straight away. The next one is karmic wound, what you came here to heal. So this is what we came here to heal. Trust the timing and trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Yeah, rushing ahead. So there we got that Aries energy coming into play there. Rushing ahead, thinking the time's running out, just doing the next thing because that's the next thing you feel you should be doing. And that can even be in a spiritual way. You might think, oh, well, I've got to learn how to read tarot cards because that's the fashion now, or I've got to learn how to do Reiki because everybody does Reiki now, or whatever it is. That's not going to get you back home, okay, to the truth of yourself and what you are any quicker. You just have to trust that there's plenty of time and that the path you're on is the right one and the best one for your soul to learn. It's not a competition. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to different people and to each other and whatever. We should never ever, my dad always said, this is a bit strange just coming in, my dad always said when I was growing up, never, when we were trying to learn something, he'd always say, never look at what somebody else is doing, always just look at what you're doing. And it's like, don't look at what the competition, so-called competition's doing, don't look over there, over there, and try and, because then your ego's coming into play, and then you're tripping up, and then you're comparing yourself to other people. If you just focus on what it is that you're all about and what it is your colours are that you're trying to bring to the world that are completely unique. You know, I watched a Pam Gregory video the other day, the astrologer Pam Gregory, and I think she was saying, I think it was on there anyway, that each one of us has a completely unique blueprint astrologically. No one else was born. You know, there are many people you might meet who are under the same sun sign as you, for instance, but nobody else is going to have the same moon sign, the same sign in Venus, the same sign in, you know, all of the different aspects of your chart are completely unique within each lifetime that you've lived. And that's because nature needs you to be you. She needs you to show up in that completely unique way. The planet and the rest of humanity need you. They need you to show up in your completely unique way. So find out what that is. It's not about worrying about how long we've got left, looking at it like it's a race, looking over our shoulder at what everybody else is doing. It's about looking within. It's about looking within and healing that wound. Okay, we'll come back and have a look at these a little bit closer in a minute. I'll get the book out as well. But let's just have a skip through like this a minute. Okay, number 3, life lessons, what you came here to learn. Okay. Forge, don't follow. There you go. Pave a new path and be the leader you wish you'd had. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever had this card at all before. It's a completely new one on me. I've never looked at that, or if I have, I've only ever looked at it briefly. I've never had it. it's basically just even the little mantra at the bottom there is basically everything that I'm already saying to you. Forge, don't follow. This is what became you to lead. Be the leader you wish you'd had. Exactly, be the change. And we've all heard that phrase, and I think it was Gandhi that first quoted that. It's a Gandhi quote, I believe it is anyway. To be the change you want to see in the world, and effectively it's the same thing. So looking at where your story sort of fell short, looking at where your story was hard, looking at what you had to heal in your life, and how you might wish that something was easier, better, lighter, or any of those sorts of things, and trying to integrate that through the mirror of your own learning, through the mirror of your own healing, so that other people who are on a similar path and faced with similar issues can value from your experience. And you could express that in any number of ways. You could become a healer of some kind, you could become a reader of some kind, you could become an artist, you could become a musician, you might be a counsellor. There's so many ways that you can bring into effect that healing that you've integrated into your life, that you can now share with other people who are up against similar obstacles, paving the way, making things easier for those to come behind us. Okay, I love that. I've not had that one before, and I'm loving that. Okay, the current obstacles, the things that's challenging us the most. Number 4. What a surprise. We've had this one over and over and over again. And doesn't that just show you how spirit works? We keep getting this card in the oracle readings, in the old Starseed style Starseed readings I used to do, and it keeps coming back time again, and now it's come back as the things that's challenging us the most. And that's why it keeps coming up in my readings. It must be the most turned over card out of this deck that I have, and if you follow my channel you'll know that. And it's the one that I keep banging on about, and it's about watering your own garden. It's about just taking care of yourself. And it's like, well, we always say it sounds a bit boring, it's the boring one or whatever, because it doesn't sound very spiritual or very woo or very far out or very starseed or whatever, you know. It's literally about looking after yourself. It's literally about making sure you are okay before you go into any spiritual work or before you go trying to heal other people. And that doesn't mean you wait until you're completely healed to heal other people, because goodness knows none of us be ever getting anything done otherwise, because it's not something that just stops. But it means taking the time to look after yourself, taking the time to remove yourself from negative situations, taking the time to really listen to your body and really listen to, it's about learning that as well. It's about learning like how to check in with yourself constantly about how certain things make you feel, being around certain people, being in certain places, listening to certain music, watching something, whatever it is you're consuming or you're putting yourself in an environment of, really listening to how that's like actually making you feel, and honouring that. And honouring that, even if it sort of ruffles a few feathers, it's not the end of the world. You've got to look after yourself. It's about learning that, because when you are a starseed, or you're an empath, or you're a light worker, or a healer, or any of those other kinds of labels that we use, you are an extra sensitive person. ESP, okay? You're an extra sensitive person. That's your gift, but also it can feel very draining. And that's the biggest challenge that we're up against. That's the thing. It's like, as much of it as it is a gift, and it truly is, it's also something that can leave you vulnerable. Other people don't get it. They may be sensitive souls themselves, and they might love you very much, but they don't understand how tired you get, how drained you get, how much you have to feel everything that's going on for everyone. And they don't, because they're not going through it, of course. So you have to be the one to look after yourself in those times, because other people are not going to, because other people simply don't get it, they don't see it, they don't understand it, and that's okay, because how would they? And that's why there's even more reason for you to be the one to say, no, I'm not doing that, or I'm going to go to bed now, or just no. Okay. Yeah, This one we keep coming back to. I find it interesting that that's come up as this is the biggest obstacle to our starseeding, and it's the one that keeps coming up for us in our readings. So what we got here? We've got number 5, soul calling. What your soul is calling you towards. What your soul is calling you towards. The seas of Mintaka, seeing potential and bringing unconsciousness to light. All right. I love this. Now, the energy of water is coming up time and time and time again in my meditations, and then I'm tuning in with other people who I look up to in the spiritual world, etc. And they are picking up on the same things that I'm picking up on. And I know some of you have been picking up on this as well. It's something to do with the energy of water. We're on the precipice of finding out not just disclosure, but new things about how water works, how intelligent it is, how yeah, there's a lot coming up around that, to be honest with you. I should post a couple of links because I've watched a couple of interesting things lately regarding this as well. Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential and bringing unconsciousness to light. Right, light is an ingredient that is part of water. Scientifically, light is part of water. So that's our emotions. So that's our emotional system. That's our light bodies. We're moving into our light. We're descending. We're becoming a light body. We are generating differently on a cellular level, etc. And we are actually ascending into a light body. So it's bringing the unconsciousness to light. I want to say as well, and I don't know why, I have looked at this one once before, but I'm not overly familiar with it, sorry. But it's just making me want to say that there's like only a small percentage of our brains that we use as humans. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's a very small percentage of the whole thing. And that suggests that we're going to be unlocking more of our consciousness. I feel like we should have been using it. I've always felt that. I've always felt like we should be using, whenever you hear that fact, you sort of feel like surely we should be using more of our minds, because why else is it there and whatever. But also there's more and more studies showing us that what we call the unconscious brain, or sleeping bit of our brain, it's actually doing all sorts of things. We just don't quite understand it yet. But also taking into account, without getting too sinister or paranoid or anything, that a lot of our brain is programmed, is controlled, is manipulated. And an interesting thing as well that came up this week for consideration is, so many of you will have heard of the studies of the Japanese guy who did the studies on the water crystals, and if you speak to them they make beautiful patterns, and if you do, and all of that, right? So sorry, my dog's distracted me so much. Lost the thread of that. Mr. Milo, come here. Sorry. So yeah, so how have we been programmed? That's what I was getting at. So how have we been programmed? And we know, don't we? We know there's a lot of negative propaganda, a lot of negative brainwashing and dumbing down that goes on from the minute we're born. It's been going on for eons and generations. How we're controlled, how everything we're doing is being watched and studied and analysed so they can continue to carry on manipulating and controlling us. And without, like I say, getting into fear and getting too sinister about all of that, the point is to stay in love. Because the interesting thing about the water studies was, right, and I urge you to look this all up for yourselves because it is absolutely fascinating. When the intention was poured on the water of a negative intention, or of a controlling energy, of manipulating it, or trying to trick it, or trying to make it do what you want it to do, it just shut down. It just doesn't play at all. But when you approach it with a sort of open curiosity and a loving intention, it plays with you and it gives you beauty. It's a short story. Please look this up for yourselves. I shall post a few links. And it's like, yeah, so we're made of water. So how are they? Do you see what I mean? There's a lot more of this truth going to come out, I feel. Absolutely, 100%. Okay, I'm going to start a little look at the tarot a minute, and then we're going to have a little deeper look into this. Okay, Illuminati Tarot. Got nothing to do with cabals. Okay, it's just called Illuminati Tarot because the word Illuminati actually just means to be enlightened. Okay, it's just a nice set. It's got beautiful imagery. It's got beautiful colours, vibrant colours. It's shot really well on the camera. Okay. So, yeah, Nine of Swords, a lot of anxiety. All right, I mean, most of us, we say, oh, it's part of the human experience, it's part of the human experience to have to face and deal with anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, darkness, etc. But it's like we're moving into a new age now. Do we really have to deal with that anymore? Do we really have to deal with that anymore? Can't we go from a more heart-based, letting go of that fear, letting go of that anxiety? What happens if we let go of it? What happens if we let go of it, you know? We're on the precipice of finding out. We're on the precipice of finding out, my darlings. Okay, go on. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't watched before, hello and welcome. I've got two dogs that you can hear in the background. One of them is very aggravating sometimes, and he's a little Jack Russell. I love him with all my heart, but he is a little aggravating dog sometimes, and you can hear him in the background, scratching for attention, etc. The moon, okay, interesting, and there's two dogs there. And I've got another dog which is a collie dog, and you'll see him as well. So we've got the moon energy coming as well to this reading. This is big tarot energy. Okay, and this month we have got, like, is it two full moons, a blue moon? It's all going on. That is actually a blue moon as well. Look at that. It's a blue moon. And we have got a blue moon. And they call it a blue moon because it's very, very rare to get two full moons in 1 month. So when you do, they call it a blue moon. And that is an actual blue moon in that card. Okay. Okay, and the dog and the wolf. Obviously, the dog and the wolf are strong symbols of tarot. And the moon energy shows us, you know, how we can go one way or the other, but the true way is in the middle. It's to go in between them both, okay? Is to honour the dog and the wolf. The dog being a domesticated, submissive side of our nature, and the wolf being the wild, human, natural human that you really are. And there's beauty in the both of that, okay? It's this is deep. There's beauty in the both of that. I love the way with this card as well. I've just tuning into this card's energy now. That actual moon there, if you look at it, is coming across. There's a sun behind. I've never noticed before. I've not used them. These are quite new. I've only been using them a couple of weeks. But there's a sun behind. So it's like an eclipse as well. So there's an eclipse. It's not eclipse season yet, though, is it? That's September, isn't it? I think eclipse season starts in September, doesn't it? I think so. This year. I don't think there's any eclipses now. So the blue moon, the next blue moon at the end of August, and then up to eclipse season. Okay. We can expect some revelations regarding what we've been chatting about, especially the water, the thing about the water. You can expect to hear more about it. You can expect to hear more about the disclosure, and part of that is going to be about studies into water. Okay. Wow. Okay. Anything else? Three of Cups. Three of Cups is literally such a light-hearted energy. I'm being shown that as a triple goddess as well. I've never looked at the Three of Cups and thought that before, but today I am. Today I'm talking about triple goddess when I'm looking at it. Three women. It's about community as well. It's a card about community, and of course we're entering the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius now, and that's all about building community with like-minded people, small groups of like-minded people, independent people, artisan people, small groups of us just reaching out and supporting each other in a very human way, but in an evolved human way, you know, that's love-based and not fear-based. This is a card of expanding your social circle, expanding your, I want to talk about women's circles and things like that, but not just women, you know, spiritual circles. There has been a lot of energy about lately about being in solitude and being like the hermit energy. That's been coming up for everyone, and loads of people have been talking about it, and loads of people have been getting it. I was getting it a lot as well, and I feel like that has been true. There has been a lot of hermit energy around where it's like time to go back inward with Venus in retrograde and all of that, and sort of go into solitude and get ready to come back out and shine your light. And I feel like that's what a lot of us are doing. Like around about, sorry, my screen went blank then. Around about the end of August and into this beginning of eclipse season, which is September, it'll be time to come back out and create, perhaps come back out, shine our light, and perhaps create new groups, new networks, new connections, sort of reevaluating the people that you hang out with. What's that old phrase? Show me 5 people that you hang out with all the time and I'll show you your future. It's like a reevaluation of that. There's a reevaluation of that going on, and that's a good thing because that'll affect everybody. So even though you might sort of like, and you don't have to cut people off, it's not, you don't always have to cut people off in a sort of a I'm cutting you off sort of way. Sometimes it just naturally drops off. You see less of those people or whatever. And I feel like there'll be a lot more of that going on, and you'll naturally gravitate or find yourself in the company of the right people that you need to be in at that time. And that's okay, because even those people that you've dropped off from, everyone's going to benefit from that. Everyone's going to benefit from that because that's the new being built. Those are the new seeds of the new communities that we're building, okay? Oh, this is an interesting one, okay? Bit different. So let's have a little look. What were we going to look at there? We were going to look at this card, Forge Don't Follow, which came out as the third card, which was showing us our life lesson of what we came here to learn. So let's have a little look at there. If I can find the book at all. There it is. Forge Don't Follow. Yeah, it says, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. If you wait until the path is perfectly paved, you won't be forging your own path. Exactly. Don't wait for perfection, we've already said that. There we are, okay. And you'll likely not even take the first step. Don't let a small detail like being unable to find someone to show you the way be the reason you don't step forward and lead. Let it be the reason that you do. The most courageous and needed leaders are the ones who don't wait for permission or until the morning they wake up feeling ready. They take a deep breath, put one foot in front of the other and figure it out as they go. Literally, that's literally how I do this channel, to be honest with you. They don't wait for someone to lead them, they lead themselves. This is a card for leaders. You're here to pave a path that wasn't walked on before, to go first and lead the way for others who are calling you in. If you feel misrepresented in the media, step forward for all those who also feel misrepresented. If no one's speaking out on the topics that you feel passionate about, share your unique voice. There's no one on earth who comes close to possessing your unique combination of skills, gifts and life experience. Don't look to those who have come before you to work out your path. Leaders must forge their own. Do it for your daughter, do it for the younger you, do it for the leaders who follow. Who'll follow. When you go first, you make it easier for others to follow your lead. Forge, don't follow. Wow, that's exactly what we were hitting on and picking up on earlier on, and I've never even looked at that one. literally, if you're waiting until you're completely healed, you don't need to wait until you're completely healed. If you wait until you wake up one day and think, oh, today's the day, you will never wake up one day and think, oh, today's the day. Instead of doing that, literally take the deep breath and do the next thing, and then do the next thing, and then do the next thing, and take care of yourself in the in-between times when you start to feel overwhelmed or overwrought or anxious or whatever. That's the biggest obstacle to us doing this, is that we don't take care of ourselves enough, don't forget, okay? So what's holding you back? So that whatever it is that's really annoying you in your world, in your work environment, in your neighbourhood, in your family life, whatever it is, what are the things that like are your major bugbears that you always think that's so wrong, that's so unjust, why is that being done that way, why can't this be like this? And have a look at how you can help move that issue along. And the reason why you're holding yourself back is because you don't look after yourself enough, because you've never got enough energy. You know what those things are. You know what those passions are. You know what those changes you would like to see in the world are. And you've had some ideas about how you can assist in moving them along or bringing them into a new light, yeah? But you've never got the energy because you're not learning to do this first. When you're coming in a fresh energy and you've looked after yourself and your cup is full, and we've been over this and over this and over this, and we'll keep going over it until we improve, then you've got that energy, then you've got that, well, there's nothing holding me back, I've taken care of everything I need to take care of, my cup is full, right now how can I don't know, whatever it is. It could be anything, it could be something that's environmental that's really annoying you, or that you'd like to see changed, or you'd like more awareness brought to. It could be something socially. It could be something about the way other humans are treating other humans. It could be something about racism. It could be something about sexism. It could be any number of those things or affecting all of those things. It could be about looking after the children in the world. It could be about looking after the old people in the world. But it would be something specific and unique to you that you feel really passionate about, and that you were able to make a big change in, okay, and forge a new path in. But only after you've learned to take care of yourself first. Wow, okay. All of those things that I've mentioned all need changing in the world. We'd all agree on that. And that's why we're here, and that is why we're here. Okay. And why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the glory. We're not doing it for the ego. We're doing it because that's what needs to be done. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter as well. It doesn't matter that we're still learning, or that we're still getting up the gusto to do something about whatever it is, or get involved in whatever it is. Because that's all lessons and learning for your soul's growth also. There was trust the timing. That came in as... what you came here to heal. Right, let's look at that in a minute. Let's see what we came here to heal. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. So often those who feel like they're here for a reason, which you do or you wouldn't be watching this, okay, sense that time is running out, and that they spend their life worrying that they might miss their moment. But the only way to miss your life or your moment is to spend your time worrying about missing your moment. Exactly. It's never too late to answer a calling, and you're never too old. The tides of your life are magnificently orchestrated to come in and out in perfect unison. Don't race ahead and ride a wave that was never meant for you. We touched on that in the preamble, especially with the Aries energy coming in today, and that's why I was reminded to talk about that. Don't rush ahead on a wave that was never meant for you. Oh, I'm going to learn Reiki now. Oh, I'm going to learn tarot cards now, or whatever. That's not meant for you. Slow down and check in with yourself. What is right for you? What is the authentic expression of your gifts? Don't let impatience, comparison, competition or paranoia disturb the seeds. Didn't we not talk about that when I give you that lovely lesson my dad used to give me? It seems that everyone has anxiety these days. That's come up. We've got the 9 of Swords. Okay, and I said every human being feels this at some time, and that's what that card represents. Everyone has anxiety these days, constantly scanning for something they might have missed or a possible threat. Keeping our mind and body pointed in the same direction as our soul is near impossible at such reactive speeds. Right now you're being reminded to take a deep breath and trust the wave you came in on, to trust the season you're in. Time isn't running out, there's plenty of time, there's no rush, and it's never too late. Lovely. Exactly. So that really sums up a lot of stuff we were chatting about as well. We're all feeling that anxiety, you know. It's not easy. It's not easy sometimes being a human being, okay? There's a lot of things that could possibly make us anxious, bring us down, throw us off our track. That's okay. All learning, all teaching us how to take better care of ourselves, all teaching us how to listen to our emotions, our hearts and our bodies, so we can take better care of ourselves. And that's all enabling us to actually forge ahead and make a new path, alright? Let's have a look at the Seas of Mintaka. That's a fascinating one. I know I've looked at that one before. Mr. Milo, you're being extra annoying. What's the matter? He just is, sometimes. Sometimes. Mr. Milo, come on. The Seas of Mintaka. There we are. Seeing potential. Mintaka is thought of being a water-based planet. Interesting. Right. Containing the most crystal clear water you could ever imagine. So clear that you could see for miles and miles underwater. The Seas of Mintaka card represents this crystalline clarity of potential and possibility. It's about the ability and choice to see the potential in all people and situations. This could be one of your natural traits, or it could be a sign that you're currently doing has great potential. Mintakans thought to have been a galactic race who saw the light in everything and everyone. How beautiful. Just a minute, I'm just going to assist my little furry buddy a minute. Would you like to come up, Mr. Milo? Come on, up there, up, come on, up, up. Sometimes he likes to jump. Come on. What if I go here a minute? Go on. Up. Go on. Up. There he is. And up there. Go on. There you go, Buster. Sorry about that. He was really aggravating me for something. He wanted to get up on the bed, and he can't get up on the bed on his own anymore. He sort of has to go onto the chair and then onto the bed. He's getting quite old, isn't he, pal? But, yeah, he's happy now. Thank you. Anyway, where were we? You may have received this card as confirmation that a situation or project has extreme potential and will reach fruition. If it appears in a spread, it's a very positive sign that things are working at the highest potential of all involved. It's a very uplifting, light-filled card and brings great harmony, contentment and positive outcomes. According to Carl Jung, that which we do not bring to the consciousness appears in our life as fate. When water appears in dreams and art, it is often representative of the unconscious mind. Pulling this card also means you may be called to bring to light any unconscious patterns of which you're unaware. To look at them and see them clearly and consciously so they don't appear in your life as fate. What unconscious patterns and behaviours are ready to be brought to the light of day. Fascinating. Fascinating. What do we need to let go of? We need to let go of this anxiety and this overthinking and this fear base. Something was coming up while he was doing that. Yeah, we can't be bringing love into the world and doing the starseed thing of sowing seeds of light and love everywhere and be in fear at the same time. We can't. We can't do that. You're either in fear or you're in love. And it's worth remembering that. And it actually helps, I find, as well, to actually remember that, because sometimes you can get caught up in the old paradigm or perhaps somebody will say something to you and they don't mean it in a sinister way or whatever, but you know, it's just a little bit old paradigm way of thinking of oh, you know, sometimes you do have to be a little bit dark, and oh, sometimes you do have to, you know, go there or whatever, and let go of the love and light and whatever. And it's like, sometimes you do that because circumstances are creating an environment that you've sort of slipped out of that light and love. You slipped out of love and slipped into fear, okay? And that's okay. It's like, I've slipped into fear, okay? But don't think that you can stay in that fear, in that energy of fear and aggression, and spin light and love out into the world. You can't. You have to bring yourself back into that light, into that peace, into that healing, into that love. You have to allow yourself to let go of that fear, let go of that anxiety, let go of all of that before you can come back to healing, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's a lot there, my loves, and there's always going to be things. That's why we've got the moon here as well. I mean, that blue moon with the eclipse on it, it's telling me a lot. It's telling me, you know, it's time to rebuild our communities, okay? It's time to rethink and restructure who we're giving our energy to, because we've been in that hermit phase for a while. We've been in that hermit phase for about 3 weeks or so now. I fancy a month maybe. And it's time to sort of come back out, shine that light again, and rethink how we're building communities, what people we're networking with, whether we're coming from love, whether we're coming from fear, what we're healing. And like as well, to understand that sometimes we do have bad times where we have to lie low, and circumstances have caused us to feel fearful or anxious or whatever. And sometimes we feel like, why do these keep things? Because I felt like that recently, to be honest with you. I've been set a fair few challenges of my own recently, and it's like, why do I keep having to face these sorts of things? You know, I'm an easygoing person. I'm a, you know, just an easygoing person, but why do I always seem to find drama seems to find me when I haven't so-called asked for it or whatever? And it's quite hard, but like we always say in spiritual work, the question is not why is this happening to me, but like, you know, what am I supposed to be learning from this? What's the lesson here? Identify the lesson so as it doesn't keep happening, so as I don't keep finding myself in situations where people want to bully me and put me down or whatever. And maybe the answer to that is exactly what the obstacle here is that we need to water our own garden. It's self-care, it's self-love, it's self-esteem, it's self-worth. It all comes back to that. That's the biggest obstacle. Okay, so we're still working on that, and we're doing good. I know, personally, I can see that I'm doing like miles better than I used to with all of that. Okay, we're trusting in the timing. We're not trying to rush ahead. We're not trying to show off. We're not acting out of ego. We're understanding that we're all on a journey, and that we're all on the right place of a journey. We're all exactly where we need to be. Okay, and we're getting ready to forge a path. Each one of us is a leader in our own way. Okay, it's not about how many Facebook followers you've got, how many YouTube followers you've got. It's not about any of that. It's not about what you believe in, what path you're on. You could be on a Buddhist path, you could be on a pagan path, you could be a born again Christian. You could be on none of that. You could be on, well, I'm on none of that, and that's fine too, you know. It's about what you are. It's about how you are as an individual, how you treat other people, how you treat the planet, how you treat yourself, okay? And to remain open and curious about the new things that we're learning and that are coming in. So I hope this has been some help to you. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for putting up with my slightly discombobulated energy, because I felt different when I came on to do this, and now I feel a little bit tired. I've got to be honest. Maybe I'm picking that up off the collective. Like I say, I just felt like we needed something extra, and I've been wanting to bring the Starseed back for a while, and with all the disclosure and everything that's going on, it's like I really need to bring the Starseed thing back. In case you're wondering what a Starseed is, I'm going to read this to you from Rebecca Campbell a minute, and then I'm going to say Nostar, good night, as we say in Wales, because it's just a little... Some people are interested in this subject, but they're not really sure. Right. What is a starseed? Starseeds are souls who haven't only incarnated on Earth. It is believed by some that the unconscious ways in which humans have been living on Earth, war, terrorism, separation, killing, disrespecting nature and animals, led the planet to send out a call to the cosmos, and waves of starseed souls answered. Starseeds saw incarnating on Earth as a great adventure, an opportunity for individual growth and an act of service for the collective. Others believe that deep down we're all starseeds. Many starseeds have significant awakening experiences, while others experience a sort of knowing or remembering from a young age. Many have been incarnating on Earth for a very long time. It is likely that if you're reading this, you're a starseed. Once again, most starseeds find it hard to have meaningless conversations. Yeah. Yep. Jobs. Yep. And relationships. Yep. They innately know there's something more to life and feel called to devote their lives to living in connection with this something more. Many remain restless, yep, until they step into their calling. I'm sure many of you can relate to that as I'm yipping. Okay. Starseeds often feel misplaced in the world. They possess a longing for home without really knowing where home is, or what the word even means. This is because they've incarnated in places very different from the Earth. If hearing this is striking a chord in your heart or makes you feel emotional, it's likely you're a starseed. I believe that ultimately all souls come from Source. However, who we are as a soul is influenced by all of our soul's experiences. So the more time a soul spends incarnating in a particular part of the universe, a planet, star system or galaxy for example, the more they'll be influenced by these experiences. The best way to think of this is to liken it to someone well-travelled. The more time they spend in a particular city or country, excuse me a minute, I need to switch this on. I'm going to run out of power. Just about to run out of power, otherwise gang, sorry. The best way to think of this is to liken it to someone who is well-travelled. The more time they spend in a particular city or country, the more that place influences who they are as a person and soul. Take me, for instance. I was born in Australia and I've spent a lot of my adult life in the UK. This isn't me, this is the author of this book, Rebecca Campbell, in the UK. So the more time I spend in the UK, the more the places influences who I am. The same goes for a starseed. The more time they spend incarnating in the star cluster of the Pleiades, say they'll resonate more with being a Pleiadian, which apparently I'm a Pleiadian starseed myself. And it makes perfect sense. When I've looked at the traits of the Pleiadians, it is spot on. When you'll see references to different planets, star systems and galaxies in the cards, we've intentionally not featured all of them or focus too heavily on the ones that are featured. The reason for this is twofold. Firstly, it wouldn't be possible to feature them all and to do them all justice in one card. Secondly, the intention of this deck is to support starseeds in their current incarnation on Earth in this life as a human, and to help them remember and embody their soul in their physical experiences today. Starseeds are scattered across the planet because they feel so different. It is not uncommon for them to spend part of their lives trying to fit in or being in some form of spiritual closet. If you're dimming your light to fit in, I invite you to stop and instead start embracing the unique light that you came here to share. Treat your time on Earth like a vacation. The more courageously you show the world who you truly are, the easier it will be for your people to find you. It's safe for you to be here and to feel at home. Beautiful. So I hope that helps and clears up a few questions. The other thing I wanted to bring in was a daily meditation from Eileen Caddy's Opening the Doors Within. Eileen Caddy's a popular spiritualist, and she actually founded the commune in Scotland known as the Findhorn Foundation. It's a new age sort of commune. Fantastic spiritual teacher. Now I've been meaning to do one of these, so let's do one of these. It's like you can read it every for years and years. You can just read one of these every year, every day of the year. So where are we today? August. Be still and receptive to life. The more still you can become, the more receptive you are. For it is in the stillness that you can hear my still small voice. It is in the stillness that you become aware of my wonders all around you. You become very sensitive to the things that matter in life. Wow, exactly. Those things that we're trying to forge a new path about, okay? And in this state of sensitivity, doors can be flung wide open and anything can happen. You must seek and find periods of peace and stillness, no matter how busy a person you are, for they need not be long periods. We talked about this earlier on as well, on taking yourself away from environments that you just know are draining you or whatever. You will find those few moments in silent communion with me. When she says with me, she means a higher self, your own God self, okay? Will work wonders in everything you do. Instead of rushing into a project, we've already had that came up as well, didn't it, about rushing into things, okay? There we go. Or doing something because it has to be done. That's exactly what came in earlier on. Your whole attitude towards whatever you undertake will be one of benediction, praise and thanksgiving. Because your attitude and approach are right, only the very best can come from it and bring blessings to all the souls concerned with it. That's exactly what I'm getting at when I'm saying you need to look after yourself first, and this is the biggest block that we keep coming up against. Because that's exactly what she's saying, is that so what you're trying to do should be a benediction, not just something you're rushing ahead with. Oh, so now I got to do the reading, I better get on and do the reading, or now I better go and do the thing. No. It's not going to have that quality to it. It's not going to have that shine to it unless you've taken care of yourself first, okay? Okay. So that keeps coming up for us time and time again. I think that pretty much sums it up, and I just love how Spirit works and guides me to use these different tools to bring a reading to you, because I couldn't have known what I was going to say. I've only just... I left it there because I've been meaning to bring it into a reading for a while and I keep forgetting, and then it just sort of like, it was like, yeah, today's the day, okay. So, hope you enjoyed. Please hit me with a thumbs up. Really need to see a thumbs up, you guys. Please hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when the next video is coming up. Please get in touch with me if you'd like a personal reading. I will leave the email address in the box below. Please don't give any money to or respond to anyone pretending to be me. It won't be me. I don't approach people. You will need to approach me. The same goes for other tarot readers as well. If anyone hits you up pretending that they've talked to your ancestors, or are a tarot reader or a spiritual reader of any they're not. They're a scam artist, okay? So just ignore it or report it. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's really easy to do. You won't be asked for any money. It's really easy to cancel at any time. And I really need to see some subscribers. So thank you, everyone. Once again, I'll be back in a day or two with a tarot reading, because we haven't done just a good old tarot reading for a while, okay? So I'll be back in the next day or two with one of those for you as well, all right, my lovely? So enjoy August. It's a busy month spiritually. Take care of yourself. This is the biggest block, okay, to us unlocking and using our gifts and forging our path ahead. Love you lots.